Hey guys, it's quote unquote your boy, Ballface 8020, back again with another great commentary. So, saw this video. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Um, the This guy, Big Boy, so who's the fat guy? We don't know his real name. They're just the internet's calling him Big Boy. This has apparently gone viral on the Manosphere, so maybe some of you guys are familiar with it. And this guy, so basically what this guy does here is there's this attractive female content creator who's trying to use him to try to get something to go viral, and then he proceeds to completely humiliate himself by acting like a MGTOW slash incel. And then the manosphere proceeds to completely humiliate itself by simping over his reaction, not realizing. So a guy humiliates himself, doesn't realize it, and then you've got the men of the manosphere celebrating it as some kind of victory for men, as opposed to the humiliation for it. So it's humiliation compounded on humiliation. Um, so anyway, she's a content creator, so I guess maybe an influencer. I mean, we're all content creators, right? She's some kind of influencer, and probably for something that the drink that she's holding, maybe that's what she's trying to do. So she's going to go up to this fat slob and try to create a viral moment. And he knows exactly what the game is, and he tries to respond. He does respond, obviously. He tries to respond effectively, and that's where I disagree. So let's see how it plays out.
A girlfriend?
I don't.
Do you think I'm hot?
Not really.
Oh, why?
Way many more people attractive here than you.
What's not hot about me?
Your personality and your voice.
My voice?
You're a little too small. You can maybe eat a burger, not be anorexic.
That's aggressive.
I don't know who you're trying to impress. No one's going to simp over you.
Okay, so we'll take it from the top. I understand why he would be irritated, because obviously this is a very arrogant girl, and it's kind of and I've seen this happen both ways. I've seen this happen even when I was younger, with or we didn't have the word back then, but Chad type guys, sort of fake flirting with, dumpier type girls. And, it's and it's kind of I don't think it was that they were necessarily trying to humiliate those girls, but it was it was kind of, I don't know, maybe not very nice. And, certainly we've all seen girls do it. Definitely seen girls do it too, and do it to more loser type guys. That's probably a lot more common. I'm just pointing out that at least when I was young, I saw it go the other way as well. Not as often though. But she's so she's looking to kind of, again, I don't think that she's trying to humiliate this guy. I don't think that's what she's trying to do. But I do think that she's kind of just, there's an arrogance there. An arrogance, okay, it's a joke. We're both in on it. But the joke is that I'm so superior to this guy. I'm so above this guy. He is some peasant compared to me. And so I don't think in her mind she's doing anything malicious. And I think that I understand why he would be irritated, especially if this is a guy who, has issues, with women. And based on his facial expressions and his reaction, I would expect that that's the case. So I see where he's coming from, Because what she's doing is kind of rude, even though she herself, I don't think, realizes it. So anyway, so she goes up to him. I guess we all saw it, but she goes up to him and starts with, "Do you have a girlfriend?" He says, "I do not." Okay, so far so good. And then she says, "Do you think I'm hot?" So she's basically, so she just wants to, create something to think. It's like, again, I don't think that she was trying to humiliate the guy. I think what she was trying to do was create some, just, create, see where it goes and see if maybe they could both play into it or, whatever. And hopefully, but from her perspective, create a funny moment, get views, get attention, which, how women, especially young women, are with attention. But I mean, make some money because that's her job, right? She wants to be an influencer. I don't know if she's a famous influencer or not. And so she says, like, do you have a girlfriend? I do not. He doesn't really give her much, just says, I do not. And then cuts to, do you think I'm hot? And he says, not really. And which is a just kind of a dumb thing to say. Like the thing, like, it's, to me, he already lost at this point. That when he said not really, and I understand that you're kind of being put on the spot here, and not everybody's able to like come up with something quick. Like I'm not able to come up with quick things, so I get that there. But that is the wrong answer because obviously he thought she was hot. Like she's not a beauty queen or anything, but she's hot. I mean, and she knows it too, which is, so you're not going to bother her or something. Now, maybe if like Jimmy Garoppolo or something said that, okay, then maybe that would bother her. But like, she knows this guy would be all over her if he had an opportunity. And so it just comes off as sort of like butthurt and defensive. And it's just, there has to be some credibility behind the, no, I don't know, for it to be like hurtful or something that's going to win it from his mind, win it from his perspective. And so he, but again, I don't want to clear, like I would have trouble with, I have trouble with, quick comebacks too. So what is the appropriate response? And it depends on the guy. Again, if you look like Jimmy Garoppolo, you can go with no. You can go with no if that's the way you want to play it. We're not talking about morals here. We're just talking about, winning, right? If you look like Jimmy Garoppolo, you can do it. If you're a more normie type, unless you're gay, no, I don't think you can do that. I think you've already lost at that point. So what I mean, and again, I don't know what I would say because it would be like spur of the moment, but like, having a chance to think about it, what I would have said is probably something like, I probably wouldn't have said yes. I would have just said, I think you're attractive, just something like that. And, just leave it like, but not, so like something that shows that like, yes, you're acknowledging she's attractive, but you're saying it in a way that like, you don't really care because why would you? And you're not saying it in a simpish way. You're not saying it, you're just being kind of the straight man to her. She's the one jester maxing here for views, and you're just being kind of the straight guy. That's what I would say. I think saying no, to me, saying no is even worse than saying, yeah, very, you're beautiful, like you're gorgeous. Something like that would be bad in a different way. But even just saying yes would have been way better than saying no. Even just saying like yes, or yeah, or yeah, something like that. Anything would have been better. I mean, not anything, but almost anything would have been better than that. He really went with the wrong answer there. So then she goes, well, what's not hot about me? And then he says, your personality and your voice. Okay, great. Her personality and her voice are, I mean, first of all, she doesn't have a personality. If you had a personality, you wouldn't be doing stuff like this. And that's not her fault, so your personality and your voice. But the thing is, a bad personality, yes, her personality is essentially non-existent. And her voice is irritating. Okay, I'll give him that. He's right, so he's good on that. But it's not really like, come on, guys, we're not women. We don't judge attractiveness that way. She's hot visually. The body's there, the face is there. We can overlook the personality and voice. And then he says, and maybe you said you're too small. You need to like eat a cheeseburger. Horrible, horrible there because she's no. I mean, I understand some guys are going to like him thicker than that, but she's not anorexic. She's slim. She's slim. I mean, I like him thicker than she is too, but no, she's definitely not. She's definitely not slim and anorexic. And also, if she's anything like most women, she's probably concerned that she's too heavy. So you've made the worst kind of insult to pick on her insecurities. If you wanted to pick on her insecurities, you'd say something like you're carrying a little too much fat on the arms, something like that. Something that like because almost every woman's got something that even if she thinks she's hot, she's got something that she's insecure about. So you would want to go something like that, or say you're not really toned enough, or something like that's or maybe like your face is a little too plain. But he went with the worst. I mean, I don't know if it's the worst possible, but a very weak one because he took something that she was because again, you take a girl who's likely insecure about being too heavy, and you tell her that she's too skinny. That insult is going to backfire as bad as as bad as any insult can. And then she's going to say, then he says, I don't know who you're trying to impress. No one's going to simp over you. So I don't really know like what he's saying here. When he's saying no one's, is he saying like no one is in I'm not here to simp over you? Or is he just saying that guys in general won't simp over her? Because obviously, literally, I mean, almost any guy, not almost any guy, but lots of guys, way more than she could ever get through, they are willing to simp for her. And now, 10 years from now, it won't be the same thing. If you want to use that as to help you cope, okay, that's fine. But right now, there are plenty of guys out there who would simp for her. Some of them are going to be pretty good looking. But I don't know if he means that or if he just means I'm not going to simp for you. The problem is, let's even say that he did just mean me, like I'm not going to simp for you. Well, again, it comes off as too butthurt. It comes like, because for people to like, because you're essentially, I'm not trying to like do this from her perspective, what she's seeing. She is going to read this guy's reaction, not as some guy standing up to her, but just as a guy who, thinks she's hot, knows he could never get her, and is lashing out. To her, this whole thing was a victory. So, like, if the idea was sort of to put her in her place, it completely failed, background. So what he should have done is, well, I mean, I think the first thing, it comes from, like, though he's reacting this way, I don't think, again, what she's doing is kind of rude, so you can understand why he'd be irritated, but I don't think that's what it's about. I think it's more about kind of a frustration thing. That, because normally this is the kind of rudeness you just roll your eyes at, right? Like, let's say this wasn't some young hot girl. Let's say it was some, like, middle-aged, really fat, ugly woman who was doing it. You'd be more confused than anything else. I know that's not, like, a totally fair comparison because the dynamics are different, but you would just kind of be like, so it's not so much about the, or even let's make a more reasonable, a better analogy. Let's say she's doing the same thing, and this is the same guy, but this guy is gay. I mean, he's still gonna think like, well, that's really rude, like, because the idea is like, oh, haha, I'm fat, and she's attractive, and we're gonna play that off against like me, and but he might be irritated or think it's pathetic, which it is. But he's not going to be like triggered about it. This she's got under his skin, and what he's angry about isn't really the rudeness. That's maybe that got him. I mean, that's a little bit of a thing, but it's not a huge issue. What the issue is the sexual frustration, knowing that he can never get this girl. And so and then for that to be broadcast everywhere, it's like, okay, but you definitely didn't. I mean, and he's not saying he won anything. It's the Manosphere who are simping for her. Like, haha, yeah, this Thot got put in her place. No, she didn't. She put all you in your place. And this is the kind of game that the only way to win is not to play. So, I mean, what I think he should, it's not so much about what he tactically did wrong. I think what he did wrong tactically are a symptom of his mind not being in the right place. And it's fine if you can't get the women that you want. Like, you want a woman who looks like her or even better than her, and you can't get them. And it's okay to be frustrated by that. That's fine. But the problem is when you start developing this sort of resentment to those women. That's the only person who that resentment is hurting is you. And if you really do care so much about winning, like this battle against them, then you are letting them win. I mean, I would say that even that is, I mean, it shouldn't be an issue one way or the other. It should be something that you just don't care about. But resenting women or resenting, attractive women, it only hurts you. And once that's there, you've already lost this war that you see between yourself and women or between yourself and attractive women. You've already lost it. So yeah, that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next.